So it's been a bit since I've talked about some Star Wars, and I kind of, got the itch to, because, outside of just the channel, and of course Star Wars being a big part of that, my life in general, Star Wars is a huge part of it. It's a meme with my family that Star Wars is pretty much our second religion. And since this year is coming to a close, I'd like to sort of look back on just everything we've got in Star Wars this year, because this has been a pretty big year, and just what we have to look forward to in the future, and just what the current state of Star Wars really looks like. Let's just get into it. I had to take a minute to be like, what all has really come out? Because obviously the most recent thing was Ahsoka. But before that, we started out this year pretty much with The Mandalorian Season 3. Not long after that, we got Vision Season 2, and then not long after that, we also got Jedi Survivor. Right away, I'm just gonna say, Jedi Survivor has been the best Star Wars thing that has come out this year. I mean, obviously it's different. It's a game, and of course, it's a big game, so obviously there's it's a lot to do. I still even haven't 100%ed the game, even all this time later after completing my playthrough, which check that out if you haven't. It's a pretty good playthrough if I do say so myself. One of these days I will go through and complete it. I know I said that I'm gonna do the Ogdo Bogdo challenge or whatever, but I don't know. The game has gone through its hype cycle, and now we're just waiting for the third game. I was gonna go in order, but I guess I'll just start with Survivor since I'm already talking about that. I mean, again, like I said, I think Jedi Survivor was the biggest thing that came out this year. It didn't have the best launch, especially, I can definitely attest to that. It took me several days before I finally was able to get it to work on my PC, which that was my own fault. All I had to do was just verify the game files and everything was fine. Well, after finishing that game, it really makes me look forward to whatever's going to be next, and if it's going to be the final game. It is kind of funny looking back on Fallen Order and Survivor, just because, I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but maybe it was. It's just, those games literally are just the Star Wars version of God of War. It's just mainly gameplay-wise. I mean, even story-wise, going into some stuff, Fallen Order is very similar to God of War 2018, and Jedi Survivor, I'd say, is even more similar to God of War Ragnarok. I mean, I guess we'll have to see what comes out first. Will it be the third God of War game, or will it be the third Jedi game? I mean, those games have always kind of come out around the same time as each other, so I'm not really going to delve into spoilers with this. Absolutely play Jedi Survivor if you haven't, or if you can't or don't want to. Watch my playthrough of it. But I still think I did a solid job of covering the story mode of that game. Now, going into the TV shows that have come out this year, I think I'll start with Visions first, and I'm going to be honest with it, I still haven't watched season 2 of Visions. I know a couple episodes were nominated for Emmys, I think, whatever the TV version of Oscars are, and I think it won something, no? Either best animation or story or something. I've seen some stuff here and there on the latest season. It's just, again, my biggest thing with it was just the whole of season 1 was completely anime. That's what got me interested initially. It's literally the merging of my two worlds, the two things I love most in media, Star Wars and anime. And then season 2 comes out, and there's only one episode, I think, that's anime, in Japanese, which, again, I'm fine with that. I'm cool with seeing these creators from a bunch of different countries getting their chance to do a Star Wars story, but it sort of just had me not jumping at the bit to watch it, really. I still do need to kind of go back and rewatch season 1, because, again, the last time I watched it, I just blitzed through it, and I had COVID at the time, so I probably wasn't able to enjoy it as much as I could have. So going into next year, I want to finish that. I might watch it on the channel, who knows? I know I'm really late to it, but never too late to experience a new story. The other biggest show that has come out this year, that being Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 3. Now that a lot of time has passed, and of course I did react to it on the channel, it's definitely the worst Mandalorian season. Worse only in the sense of comparing it to the previous 2 seasons, and also in the fact that you sort of have to watch Book of Boba Fett, or at the very least just watch episodes 5 and 6. But even aside from that, it's the season was just, it was just whatever, really. It was cool seeing the Mandalorians take back their homeworld, but a lot of the stuff was just really sloppy, I would say. It really rushed, especially the ending. It's cool seeing Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan. I think she was probably the best part of that whole season, the fact that we got pretty much every episode with her. We got a lot of character development with her as well, which honestly, kind of looking back on it, it's that season was more Bo-Katan's season than The Mandalorian. Mando and Grogu were in the season. It didn't really feel so much like their story, because again, I would say the hot take opinion that season 2 of Mandalorian is not my favorite season. I still think that season 1 is the best season. Not to say it's bad, obviously season 2 gave us amazing stuff. I just think that Easter eggs and stuff are good, and cameos, there's a limit, to the point where literally every episode in The Mandalorian season 2 was literally a cameo or Easter egg of some kind. But where Mandalorian's gonna go in the future with Mandalorian season 4, and it's gonna tie into Heir to the Empire, Empire, I imagine, because that's, again, what's apparently going to end this whole series, but I somehow doubt it's going to end. Because I know they've also talked about, it's like, oh, Mandalorian, like, we have no ending for that in sight, which is kind of cool, but also kind of terrifying, because that's just, oh, you don't have an ending? That makes it sound like you're just going to come up with an ending on the spot. I'm still looking forward to if they do season 4. Again, all this stuff is hard to really talk about, just like what could be. A lot of this new stuff and future stuff has been sacked because of the writer's strike. I mean, obviously justifiably so. The writers deserve it. And I'm glad they finally came to some agreement. It's just sad that, unfortunately, when it comes to new stuff, it's gonna be a good couple more years until we really see or even hear new stuff. Because I know Acolyte is still coming out next year. I think next year, and same with Andor Season 2. I don't know if those got pushed back at all. Because we still haven't even got the official trailer for Acolyte yet. I know there was like the leaked thing, but I steer clear of that stuff until there's like the official like Star Wars YouTube channel puts out a trailer. And then of course with like animated stuff, I know that like Bad Batch is still gonna be going strong, especially with the cliffhanger that last season left off on. Or well, Bad Batch came out this year too, right? Season 2 did. I watched the first half of the Bad Batch Season 2 and I thought it was like a lot of people really love it, which I'm glad. It's giving more love to like the Clone Wars era stuff. For me personally, the characters of the Bad Batch and just some of the stories it tells, I don't care. I literally dropped the season halfway through. The Crosshair story and like the beginnings of the Empire are much more interesting to me. I've watched those episodes just on their own, just like the Crosshair centric episodes, just because again, those are a lot more interesting to me than just the kiddie stupid adventures that Omega and the Bad Batch go on. So yeah, there was a lot more this year than I thought. It all just sort of comes out on like the first half of this year, and then we had Ahsoka to sort of wrap it out, I guess. But then of course, speaking of Ahsoka, that was the last thing we got for this year in terms of new Star Wars stuff. I would say the second best thing we got. Now that some time has passed, and again, I have reacted to Ahsoka on the channel, you know, I've stewed on it a lot more. I still think it's a fine 7 out of 10 show. There's obviously a lot to love if you're a lifelong Star Wars fan, especially if you're a Clone Wars fan. But in terms of like the other aspects of the show, there's a lot of give and take. I feel like this live action characterization of Ahsoka is not the best. I feel like Sabine's character was iffy at times, even annoying. Ezra was cool, though, like when it came to some of the combat stuff, I felt like he should have been kicking a lot more ass than what he actually was. Obviously, Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati were easily the best characters in that whole show. Baylan more so, but like a lot of his best scenes were him talking to Shin and like their kind of back and forth, their clash of ideologies. And it's sad that when we go into the future with those characters, that most likely Baylan will either be recasted or maybe they just won't see him ever again. It's hard to know where they'll go with that. You know, something that I'm surprised they never brought up was the fact that what if they CG him back in? People immediately went to like, oh yeah, they're gonna recast him or just write him out. It's just like, you know, they've had actors die before, you know, Carrie Fisher died before The Rise of Skywalker came out and they CG'd her into the story. You know, same with the actor who plays Tarkin. They could, in theory, CG Ray Stevenson back into it and just have a body double. I know there's still an ethical debate with the, you know, using deceased actors. If they either recast him or just write him out, no matter what, I want to see more of the character. But with other stuff with Ahsoka, again, episode 5, right? Yeah, episode 5 was the best episode in the entire series, bar none. And even then, like I said, it's like, it was only the first like 20 minutes of the episode. It's the Clone Wars flashback, which again, it's all I've wanted. The only thing I want more is to see all 3 of Hayden Christensen, the young actress who plays young Ahsoka, and then also Ewan McGregor playing the Clone Wars version of Obi-Wan. That's the only other thing I still want to see. And I know there's been like that rumor mill forever that the live action Clone Wars movie thing might be a thing at some point, especially now that they've done this. They could easily do that. Again, like I even said, if they just do like a live action recreation of the Clone Wars movie or just some Clone Wars bits, like I even said at one point they could do something kind of like the micro series Clone Wars but in live action, where it's just like these bits and pieces of different like iconic Clone Wars moments, but just sort of recreated in live action, like maybe like Kit Fisto and Grievous's fight, showing some stuff with Maul, Umbara, like some of the most iconic moments. Yeah, it would kind of be weird like throwing that all together in terms of pacing. But again, like the micro series did it, and I think it works. But then again, that's animated. I get it. I'm just throwing out ideas, all right? But the future right now is rough, to say the least. You know, fans have been saying that, you know, yeah, the Heir to the Empire movie, and they've even said that it will end with a movie. Has there been an official thing yet, though, that has said, like, yes, Heir to the Empire? I mean, obviously it would make sense that that's what it would be called. If they called it anything else, that would be a very big missed opportunity. I want to say they should call it Heir to the Empire, because I think that'll give people more cause to go and read Timothy Zahn's original book, Heir to the Empire, the book series, because I still think that's one of the best, if not probably the best, Legends book series ever for Star Wars. The first time ever that Thrawn becomes a concept. And it's a shame, really, that the stories and stuff in that is not going to be translated to live action as well. And I already know that it's not going to be as good as the book. I definitely need to go back and reread that book series. It's been a good couple of years since I first read it. And I definitely would appreciate it a lot more nowadays, now that I'm older and have written stuff as well. Because I think back then I was listening to more of the audiobook of it. Because I know there's also like the Disney book series, which was the trilogy of like their Thrawn, which was Timothy Zahn's return. I've heard good things about those books. Either way, in terms of stuff to look forward to in the future, I mean, in terms of stuff that obviously will happen, Andor Season 2, Acolyte, Bad Batch Season 3, probably more Visions. I'm sure Mandalorian Season 4 as well at some point. Whatever the Heir to the Empire movie is going to be, I predict probably we might not even hear or see anything probably until maybe the end-ish of probably next year. Whatever happens, I am here for it, because no matter how much shit or praise I give, I love Star Wars till the day I die, and it will always be a big part of my life and this channel. And whatever new stuff comes out, if it looks like something worth reacting to, I will react to it on the channel and cover it to some extent. And in terms of everything that's come out this year, again, the best thing was Jedi Survivor and the couple things that were in Ahsoka. But overall, it was a lot more than I even remembered. And I'm thankful at least that, you know, we're still getting stuff. Even though next year may possibly be a slower year, I'm sure there will still be a lot that comes out that's worth talking about in terms of news and whatever. Either way, this is just my little rant on just the current state and everything that came out this year for Star Wars and what the future may hold for it. Join me for many other videos of the sort, be they future discussions, reviews, reactions, gameplay, and everything else that'll be coming out soon. So until next time, I'm Lancer. Thanks for watching. May the Force be with you.